Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Sherman, and I'm a big fan of Iota. Iota is considered by many to be a cryptocurrency, so I just have to say that you should do your own research. Never put any money into anything that you can't afford to lose, and this is not financial advice. So, what is Iota? Well, Iota is a directed acyclic graph that is better than blockchain in my opinion. So with blockchain, you have to do a whole bunch of transactions and everybody is working on this block, and then it gets sort of concreted, finalized, everyone agrees on it, you move on to the next one. With the DAG, with the Tangle, and Iota runs off the Tangle, essentially you can work on this transaction, and this transaction works on your, let's say, your cell phone, because really Iota can work off of do the computation on the cell phone instead of using up all of this energy for everyone to agree with what is in the blockchain. Your phone does this transaction and the transaction behind it, and then let's go down here. Okay, so this transaction does this transaction and the one behind it, and so on and so forth, and all these transactions can be going all at one time and for free. So if we were to do something that would require the government to pay for it, the government, unlike blockchain projects where they would have to pay for the computation and all of the resources, which are very energy hungry to be able to do this, you could do this through your cell phone, and it could be all done within a matter of days. And I'll get into why I believe that, why it needs to be a matter of days. But it would really be within a matter of minutes that all of this work would be processed for a district and could then be sent to somewhere else where it would be verified. So more activity equals more validation. Essentially, because it's transacting the transaction and the last either one or two, I always forget this, behind it, the more transactions that are going through the Tangle, the more it speeds up, unlike Bitcoin, where the more transactions that are going through the blockchain, the slower it goes. So let's talk about what it would be like for, and I already recorded this video before and had some problems with it, so that's why I'm redoing this. What it would be like for the Tangle to be used for voting. Let's say the government says, okay, well, we are going to have, I use Linux now, and so I'm not used to GIMP. We have this app, and this app is your voting app. And within this app, you have your Tangle address. Let's look for a second what a Tangle address looks like. So, yeah. So this is a Tangle address. As you can see, it only has the number 9 in it. So let's just say EXVJY. Okay? And in EXVJY9, you have 1 iota. Okay? And 1 iota is worth less than like that much of a penny. If a penny is this big, okay, iota is worth that much at the very most. It's infinitesimally small. So we don't have to worry about using very much government money to be able to use iota, right? Let me delete this and delete that. So then within the app, we're going to do a little bit of UI design here. Let's get rid of select none. Within the app UI, you might have three buttons. One that represents Andrew Yang, another one that represents maybe Tulsi, right? And another one that you would click for Sanders. So let's say that we're voting with our app for Andrew Yang. So then we click on him. It asks us, do you really want to vote for Andrew Yang? We say yes. Then this iota is then sent to this address. Now, for every state, Andrew Yang could have, well, we could have one address, we could have 50 addresses, we could have 1,000,000. But we could track through either another spreadsheet, which would probably be not needed, and we could probably use another layer of the Tangle, and we could create our own private Tangle if we sign up with the Iota Foundation. We could send that Iota to all of the one of the Andrew Yang addresses that has been registered. So let's say that's EJW9, right? And so then through the Tangle, that transaction has been verified, and you could go to either the government's private Tangle or this to verify that that transaction was one I being sent to Andrew Yang's address on the Tangle. Once you have sent this iota, your address is null and void. So that means you can't double send. And also you don't have any balance. You can send 0 in iota. It's free to send, but this iota would be gone, and it would be sent to Andrew Yang's. Now, one of the most common problems that people who are against blockchain voting, they're typically tech bloggers who don't code themselves at all. One of the most common problems that they have with is verification. I've already shown you how you could verify that that transaction was done, but then they want to make sure that there's no sort of voter fraud going on with people who are claiming to be other people or going in and voting on your behalf. So how do we take care of that? Well, we could have something like verification on this app that you are who you say you are. And in the blockchain and cryptocurrency world, they do that through a process that is called KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer. And typically, with the KYC process, you say you want to sign up under your username, your password, you give them your email address, you give them your home state, and maybe even your address and all this information. But then you provide to them also something like your driver's license, which has your neat little picture on it, has your information, which hopefully this matches up with this. And so you could use something like maybe voter ID card to sign up into this app to verify that you want to vote. With a lot of KYC process, what happens is they ask you to take a picture with your phone. That is going to represent a little camera, okay? Phones don't look like cameras anymore, but we all know what a camera looks like. And in the process of taking that photo, after you've already provided them the photo of your ID from your driver's license, they're going to take this picture of you and it's going to have little lines going around your eyes, going around your mouth and your nose, and it's going to verify that what it sees in the camera, and it's actually going to use, typically I've seen it use a web page that uses the camera. It doesn't have you take a picture with your camera and then send it in. That's only happened once, in fact, in the time that I've been using cryptocurrency. Uh, what it typically does is it takes a picture within the browser of your face, matches it up to this using machine learning, using AI. It verifies that you are who you say you are, and you are good to go. However, if this picture doesn't look anything like this picture, then what the machine says is, nope, there's a problem, and it needs to verify who you are. It needs some other form of identification, then you have to wait. So you could register to vote with the app. It would verify that you are who you say you are, that you are a live person who's holding an actual phone, taking a picture of themselves. We would have to, in the government, pay for people to verify that this picture matches this picture if the machine didn't verify it. And, there would be the cost to develop this, but there's no cost to send Iota. So let's talk about another common issue that comes up, which is voter fraud through somebody saying that the app got hacked and your vote was not for Andrew Yang, it was for somebody like Tulsi, right? So what happens if, what was the address that we had there before? Oh, not that one. I already deleted it. EXKJ. Okay, let's just say that EXKJ 9, it got used up. Your app would automatically move on to the next address. The Trinity wallet for Iota automatically does that. It is quantum resistant because of this. There's other reasons why Iota is quantum resistant, but this is one of them. So then it moves on to another address. Okay. Okay. So now you have this address, and then what they do is they take all the Iota. Let's say they had 150 votes that people claimed, hey, I checked the Tangle or the government's version of the Tangle, and I verified that my vote went to the wrong person, or somebody hacked in as me and sent it to the wrong person. And you may have a limited window to do that. So then the next day, what happens is that district takes those 150, verifies what addresses it needs to send them back to, sends it back, this one I, and then that person then can then send it to the correct address. And that is how you would do what many people would refer to as blockchain voting. But as some of you may know, I don't prefer the blockchain. I prefer Iota for a multitude of reasons, speed being one of them. I think that we're seeing, I'm not exactly sure what it means by CTPS, but we're doing 10 CTPS per minute for CTPS 10 minutes. 11 here we go. 11 transactions a minute. That number can just increase. As I said before, the more transactions that are done on the Tangle, the more speed we will have. There's been test nets done where they're getting 500,000 transactions per second. That is Visa, MasterCard level. So, again, my name is Matthew Sherman. I am a huge fan of Iota. I love cryptocurrency. I'm sick and tired of tech reporters, and I'm doing air quotes now, who don't code, who are telling me that there's all these major problems with doing any form of blockchain or a cyclic graph voting, when I know that if we just simply tied an app that has KYC. You could even air gap some of the process. You send your, and it doesn't even have to be 1 iota, by the way. It could be a 0 iota, because iota, it doesn't cost anything to send. But if the government wants to track it a little bit better, I would recommend using 1 iota to an address that would be Andrew Yang's, sort of one of his addresses for voting. And that's how you could do voting. By the way, all of what I've talked about here in this video is how you could do polling. Think about it. If we have 500,000 people wanting to poll, it could all handle it. And that's it. Thank you guys. Have a great night.